Hi, I'm Marc Bates, a metabolic health coach, and today's topic is the misunderstood miracle of ruminant agriculture. The animals most blamed for environmental destruction might be our best hope for ecological restoration. For decades, conventional wisdom has cast cattle and other grazing animals as villains in our climate narrative. But what if this perspective has been fundamentally wrong? What if ruminant animals, cows, sheep, goats, and wild relatives, are not environmental destroyers but essential ecological partners? This isn't merely a contrarian viewpoint. It's supported by emerging research that challenges our most basic assumptions about agriculture, nutrition, and sustainability. The story begins with a remarkable evolutionary adaptation. Nature's ultimate recyclers. Ruminants possess a superpower that no human can replicate. They convert cellulose, the most abundant carbohydrate on earth and entirely indigestible for humans, into high quality protein and fat. What sets ruminants apart is their unique digestive system, a specialized setup featuring multiple stomach compartments. The largest, called the rumen, housing billions of microorganisms that break down plant material humans cannot digest. This transformation is a game changer in our understanding of sustainable food systems. No vertebrate animal produces cellulase, the enzyme necessary to break down cellulose. Without ruminants and their microbial partners, vast quantities of plant material would remain inaccessible as human food. This makes these animals essential converters in our global food system. Through this process, ruminants effectively create something from nothing, at least from the human perspective. They transform grass, hay, and agricultural byproducts into nutrient-dense food. This isn't just efficient, it's revolutionary when we consider our global food challenges, inspiring us to rethink our approach to food production. They're soil builders, not destroyers. Properly managed ruminants have environmental benefits that extend far beyond food production. When managed through techniques like adaptive multi-paddock grazing, these animals become powerful tools for ecological restoration. Properly managed grazing mimics the natural patterns that grasslands have evolved with for millions of years. Grazers eat plants, fertilize the soil, break the surface crust with their hoofs, and then move on, allowing plants to recover and thrive. The results of well-managed grazing can be transformative for degraded landscapes, turning them into productive ecosystems. This underscores the potential of ruminants in ecological restoration and challenges the conventional view of them as environmental destroyers. Research shows that adaptive grazing can significantly increase soil carbon sequestration. One study found that this approach could offset greenhouse gas emissions through carbon storage, making beef production a net carbon sink rather than a source. Carbon sequestration has cascading benefits. Every 1% in soil organic matter allows that soil to hold an additional 27,000 gallons of water per acre, dramatically improving drought resilience while reducing flooding and erosion. The impact on water cycles alone makes ruminants powerful allies in climate adaptation. Nutritional density beyond numbers. The nutritional benefits of ruminant-derived foods deserve equal attention. These animals don't just produce calories, they create some of the most nutrient-dense foods available to humans. Animal proteins contain a balanced profile of essential amino acids that plant proteins typically lack. This makes them more bioavailable and nutritionally complete for human needs. Ruminants also produce unique fatty acids through a process called bihydrogenation. This process creates stable saturated fats and beneficial compounds like conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, which has demonstrated health benefits. The vitamin and mineral content of ruminant foods adds another dimension. These foods are rich sources of vitamin B12, zinc, iron, and other nutrients that are often difficult to obtain in adequate amounts from plant sources alone. Most importantly, ruminant-derived foods provide these nutrients in forms that the human body can readily absorb and utilize. The global food security equation. Ruminants become even more valuable when we expand our view on global food security. Approximately 70% of the world's agricultural land comprises grasslands that cannot support crop production due to rainfall patterns, soil types, or topography. These vast areas can only produce human food through grazing animals. Even on cropland, ruminants play a crucial role in sustainable systems. They consume crop residues and byproducts that would otherwise become waste. They convert these materials into a high-quality protein while returning nutrients to the soil through manure. This integration creates circular agricultural systems that minimize waste and maximize productivity. With the global population projected to reach over 8 billion by 2050, we cannot afford to dismiss any food production system that efficiently converts inedible materials into human nutrition. Methane and the carbon cycle. The methane question requires addressing. Ruminants produce methane through enteric fermentation, the digestive process that allows them to break down cellulose. However, this process must be understood in context. The carbon in methane from ruminants comes from plants that recently captured it from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. This creates a biogenic carbon cycle fundamentally different from the extraction and burning of fossil fuels. Methane also behaves differently than CO2 in the atmosphere. While potent, it breaks down relatively quickly, within 10 years, compared to centuries for CO2. This means stable herds of ruminants don't add new methane to the atmosphere over time. The breakdown of previously emitted methane balances the methane they emit. When combined with the carbon sequestration potential of well-managed grazing, the net climate impact can be neutral or even positive. Okay, real quick, if you would like to help out the channel, I would appreciate it. Just like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications when we post a new video. Thank you so much. Okay, regenerative grazing in practice. The theoretical benefits of ruminants become tangible when we examine regenerative grazing systems in practice. These approaches go by various names: adaptive multi-paddock grazing, holistic planned grazing, mob grazing, but they all share common principles. Animals graze intensively in small areas for short periods, then move to new places. This allows plants to recover fully between grazing events, stimulating root growth and carbon sequestration. See, the results can be remarkable. Degraded landscapes transform into productive ecosystems. Biodiversity increases as habitats for insects, birds, and small mammals improve. Water cycles improve as soil structure develops. Farmers implementing these systems often report reduced input costs, improved animal health, and greater resilience to weather extremes. These benefits accumulate over time as soil health improves, creating an upward spiral of ecosystem function rather than the downgrade spiral of degradation seen in many conventional systems. Rethinking our food system narratives. The evidence suggests we need to reconsider our narratives about food production fundamentally. The simplistic view that plant foods are environmentally superior to animal foods ignores the ecological complexity of sustainable food systems. A more nuanced perspective recognizes that different environments support different production systems. Grasslands evolved with grazing animals. Removing these animals doesn't restore these ecosystems, it disrupts them further. Truly sustainable food systems integrate crops and livestock to mimic natural processes. They work with ecological principles rather than against them, empowering us to make informed choices about our food consumption. This integration allows for more efficient resource use, greater biodiversity, and improved resilience to climate change. The most sustainable diet isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. It depends on local ecosystems, cultural traditions, and individual needs. With its efficient and sustainable land use in many environments, ruminant agriculture represents a key part of this more holistic approach to food production. And this goes beyond either-or thinking. Moving forward requires abandoning either-or thinking about our food system. We need crops and livestock working together in integrated systems that maximize efficiency while minimizing environmental impact. We must distinguish between different production methods rather than demonizing entire food categories. The environmental impact of a grass-finished cow on a well-managed pasture bears little resemblance to one raised in an industrial feedlot. Similarly, we must distinguish between different landscapes. What works in one ecosystem may be destructive in another. This complexity makes for challenging policy discussions. It doesn't fit neatly into bumper sticker slogans or simplistic dietary guidelines. However, embracing this complexity is essential if we want sustainable food systems that nourish people and the planet. The path forward. What would a system that fully leverages the benefits of ruminants look like? It would integrate crop and livestock production rather than segregating them. Livestock would graze cover crops and crop residues, returning nutrients to the soil and reducing the need for synthetic fertilizers. It would match production systems to ecosystems. Grasslands would support grazing animals, and croplands would produce human edible crops while incorporating animals to manage residues and maintain soil health. It would measure success by more than yield alone. Soil health, water quality, biodiversity, and climate resilience would be equally important factors in our assessment of agricultural systems. Most importantly, it would recognize that food production is not separate from ecosystem function, but integral. Our goal would shift from minimizing harm to actively regenerating degraded landscapes. This vision isn't utopian. Farmers and ranchers are implementing these principles today, often with remarkable results. A revolution in understanding. The ruminant revolution isn't primarily about new technology. It's about new or recovering old understandings lost in our rush toward industrial agriculture. It recognizes that ruminants aren't just meat and milk factories. They are essential ecological partners that can help us address our most pressing environmental challenges. They convert what we cannot eat into what sustains us. They build soil that stores carbon and water. They maintain grassland ecosystems that support countless other species. When managed properly, they don't deplete resources, they regenerate them. This understanding calls us beyond simplistic narratives about food and the environment. It invites us to engage with the beautiful complexities of natural systems and our place within them. The misunderstood miracle of ruminant agriculture offers a path to sustainable food production and a new relationship with the living world that sustains us all. So, I'd like to thank you for watching. Remember, please leave a comment or ask a question, and I'll answer them. And if you have an idea for what you would like to see on the next video, please leave that in the comment section. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.